morning, everyone. We are really happy that you are here with us. We are, as always, occasionally at this hour seem to struggle with our connectivity issues, but we are here. We are live.
Better late than never.
Indeed, yeah. How are you doing today, Brooke?
I am doing well.
Good.
Beautiful day. Every day's a beautiful day.
Well, it is. But
beautiful sunshine.
Some days it's easier to find the beauty in, and today the weather, and it's not just here. I looked at some places that I've lived and where I have family yesterday, and this is a wide-ranging, high-pressure weather system where there is above normal temperatures and sunshine across a huge stretch of our country. And so these days are beautiful days. Beautiful time to get outside and do some yard work. That's what I like to do.
I mowed the lawn yesterday because I thought I'd better do it one last time while the weather was nice.
Yeah, and or to play, whether it's like soccer or to go to the park, kids, with your parents. You know, it's a good day. This afternoon would be a wonderful time to enjoy God's world. You know, there still is some green, and then there's some yellows and oranges and reds and browns. It's such a pretty mix of colors out there.
I know. It's my favorite season.
Really?
I love fall.
You know, I love them all, and I don't know that I could ever live anywhere where there aren't four seasons.
I know. I need a change of seasons.
I like to escape winter, you know, in the deep of winter when it's cold and it's been, you know, weeks on end that it's cold. But I don't not want to not be here. I guess I'm too much of a Northeast person. So.
Yeah, I like the change of seasons too.
Yeah.
But I have a question.
Yeah. What's up?
this? There's a huge plant here. We usually,
Well, isn't it pretty?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's pretty.
Well, Brooke, I have a problem.
Okay.
I have too many plants to take care of, and I need you to be a steward of one of my plants.
What's a steward?
A steward. Hey, kids, if you know what a steward is, why don't you let us know online? Well, I don't know if you remember a long time ago, Brooke, a long time ago, when the cruise ships were going and when airplanes were flying all the time and people would go on them. I mean, the airplanes are flying again, but the cruise ships are not as much. And there were people that would serve and wait on the customers or the guests or the people traveling on the cruise ship or on the airline. And back in the day, they were called stewards and stewardesses. So that was, a steward was a male and a stewardess was a female.
Gotcha.
Do you remember those?
I remember, yes, I've heard the word stewardess more than steward, but that would make sense.
Yeah, so on a plane, they're, you know, here's your coffee, here's your tea, here's your paper bag. They would supply all the things that people needed, you know, when they were in flight. And make sure that their seat belts were buckled and that they were following the rules, and they would tell you the safety stuff. But yeah, a steward and a stewardess. And the same was true on a cruise liner. They would be the people that would be there. I've never been on a cruise, but I know that they have people that would be there to help the guests with whether it was meals or, you know, the programming and all that stuff.
So they kind of take care of people's needs and things like that.
Yeah.
Okay, but you want me to be a steward of this plant.
Yeah.
I'm not very good with plants.
Well, let's talk more about what it means to be a steward.
Okay.
So a steward takes care of someone or something, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And so sometimes when we are stewards, we have to learn new things.
Okay.
And so, like, if you were going to be a stewardess on the airline or a steward on the airline or a steward on a ship, you would have to learn all about the boat, all about the airplane. You would have to learn about the safety procedures. You would have to learn about what are the expectations of the company that you work for, kind of the ways that you say hello to people and greet people, the things that you can do for them and the things that you cannot do for them, because they all have guidelines about, you know, what can happen in flight or on the cruise. So there's a whole, when you're a steward, it's not just like, oh, I'll do this, or oh, I'll take care of that. There's some requirements to be a steward.
Well, what requirements do I have to take care of your plant?
Well, first of
What are
all,
my
you need.
qualifications?
Well, first of all, this plant needs to be talked to.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, I have.
And why do you think that they say that?
I always thought it was because we breathe, and when we talk, it is the carbon dioxide which the plants take in.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the scientific reason.
Right.
But the other thing is, they just like to hear your voice.
Aw. I don't have to sing, do I? Just talk to them, right?
Well, whatever is your happiest. But honestly, I think, like if you're yelling at it, I don't think that the plant would like that. Do you?
I guess not.
I mean, if somebody were taking care of you, would you want a steward on an airplane or a stewardess to yell at
No.
you?
So I better watch my tone when I talk to the
Yeah.
plant.
Yeah, but
Okay?
ultimately, yes. When we breathe, it takes in
Okay.
and it thrives.
Okay, so
that's-
I'm going to talk to it.
Okay, so what else do you think you need to do for this plant?
Well, I probably need to water it.
Absolutely, that's really important. And I will tell you, this plant is very forgiving. It's very
Okay.
forgiving. It's in the philodendron family. Can you say that?
Philodendron.
Can you say that, kids? Philodendron. And it grows vine-like, and you can actually, I could cut this off here and put this in water, and there's little nubs on this plant, and they would start to form roots, and you can root new plants from this plant. And so watering is really important, and it doesn't even need a lot of soil, this particular one. It likes soil, but it can start growing, and it can grow like in a glass of water for quite a while. But one thing it does need is something else.
Sun?
It needs light, yes. Yeah, it needs light. Because this guy's been inside so long and not in direct sunlight, he might turn a little bit yellow, just kind of like if we were to go out at the beach. Kids, have you ever been to the beach and you're in the sun too long? What happens? You turn yellow, right?
Mm-hmm. You get a tan.
Or if you're too long, though.
Too long, yes.
What
you
what
burn.
color do you?
You get a sunburn.
Yeah, and that's more red, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I was being funny when I said you turn yellow when you're in the sun too long. It's red, right?
It's red.
Yeah, for most of us. And this guy probably doesn't want too much direct sunlight, but it likes light.
Some sun, okay.
Yeah, so you're going to talk to it.
And water it. It doesn't need a lot of water. Like how much? How do I know how much water? How do I know how thirsty it is?
How will I know? Well, like I said, you almost can't overwater this guy because
Okay.
it could root itself just sitting in water. But, if you touch it and it feels dry, then water it.
Okay. Okay, so I have to talk to it and water it and make sure it has some light.
Yeah. And, if you want it to really thrive, sometimes it likes a little bit of plant food.
Oh.
Some other nutrition. It's kind of
Okay.
like us as people. We need some daylight. It's proven. This time of year when the days get shorter, there are some people that actually have an emotional and psychological reaction to the shortened days in the darkness, that they get depressed and sad. They find it hard to function, and they need light. We also, there's some commercials on TV. The one with the candy bar and people turn grumpy.
Oh, isn't that a Snickers? Isn't that the
Yeah,
Snickers?
the Snickers one, where if, when we get hungry, sometimes we get grumpy and angry, or we're just not ourselves. And so we need food.
Okay.
We need water. I mean, our bodies are like a huge percent of water. And if we don't have enough water, we get dehydrated and we can get sick and weak. So yeah, we're much like these plants.
So there's things we have to do to take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
So we're kind of stewards of ourself.
Yes. In fact,
I was
see
going
this?
to ask that. Yeah.
See, on my hand, I have a brace, and different people have asked me, did you hurt yourself? And it's not so much that I hurt myself, but in this hand, right kind of at the base of my thumb, there's a bone that connects, there's some cartilage and ligaments that connect it to the arm. But there on that bone, there's like a bone spur. There's like a growth on the bone, and it's rubbing against the other bones and the cartilage. And so it gets sore sometimes. And so the orthopedic specialist for the hand ordered me to wear this. And if I wear it enough, it will help the inflammation. That's when it gets swelled up.
Gotcha.
Because it's sore and your body's kind of fighting against the soreness. There'll be some swelling. This will help it to kind of not rub so difficult and hard against bone to bone. And then it relaxes itself, and after a while the swelling goes down, and then I don't have to wear it as much. I could have surgery, but I don't want to do that because the doctor said I could lose some of the motion in my thumb, and I'm not quite ready to give that up.
Yeah.
So if it just starts to hurt, then I'll wear this, and that's kind of what I do. But I have to take care of it. So wearing this brace is kind of a way that I'm a steward of my hand, because my hands, I have to do lots of things. I mean, I have to take care of my body, feed, clothe, whatever. But also, like in the church office, I spend a lot of time at the computer writing sermons, maybe putting together a PowerPoint, maybe writing a letter or note to somebody, sending emails. And so a lot of that is typing on the keyboard. And if this hurts really bad, then I'm not so good. I don't want to do things, so I have to take care of this.
So then, am I being a steward of my body when I do Zumba and I walk and do my exercise and stuff
Absolutely, yeah. When we exercise, when we play recreation like sports, and even going out physically on the playground, when we just go outside, just being outside and breathing the air that's outside, unless we were in some kind of a air quality alert, because every now and then there's like pockets of bad air that settle over an area. But when there's not an air quality alert, it's good to be outside, it's good to be moving. That's all of those things. And when we eat, not just eating junk food and candy bars and fast food all the time, but actually having nutritious meals, eating fruits and vegetables and whole grains.
Well, now's a great time for apples.
Yeah, and apples are really good for you.
I know,
and even the skins. I know sometimes kids don't like to eat the skins because they're kind of chewy and crunchy. Do you like to eat the skins, kids?
Yes.
The skins are even good for us. Sometimes this time of year, families at home will make applesauce. Kids, that's something that you could do with your moms and dads. You could learn how to make applesauce. You get a bunch of apples and peel and core them and cut them up and then cook them down and then mash them or strain them. That would be a fun activity. And then you can eat it, and that is a way that we can care for our bodies, healthy foods.
Yeah.
So yeah, a steward could take care of like a plant, in this case, and all the things that you need to do: water, make sure it has light, talk to it, feed it,
Okay, so stewards can take care of things like plants, take care of other people, because you explained that on cruise ships and stuff.
Yes, exactly. And it also, hey kids, did you realize your parents are stewards over you? Your parents are God's appointed guardians, people to watch over and care for you, to help provide for you, to feed, to clothe, and to get you the right amount of light. And when I say light, in this case, it's direction and guidance. Because, at nighttime, it's dark, it's hard to see a pathway. You wouldn't go rock climbing or mountain climbing at night unless you really had to. It's not the safest thing to do. Parents shed light on our pathway through life so that we can make the best decisions. So parents are our God-given stewards over you to help you.
Well, then,
and care for you.
Now that I think of that, there's other people in our lives who are stewards for us too.
Yeah.
Like all the kids watch and go to school.
Yeah.
So there's lots of people at schools that take care of their needs, their educational needs, you know, like the teachers and those cafeteria ladies who make sure they get a good meal during the day.
Absolutely.
The school nurse.
Yeah, they're stewards over the students. But did you know that students are stewards too?
How would they be stewards?
Oh, I used to love every new year when we would get our new classroom textbooks. And when we were given new textbooks, a lot of times back in the day, we had book covers. Remember it? And sometimes they had
yeah.
ads on, sometimes they had neat pictures, sometimes you could go out and buy the book covers, and they even had guidelines how to fold them, and you could wrap them around the book and cover the book, and you would care for that book so that when you got it, and then when you turned it in at the end of the year, it wasn't terribly worn, that you were a steward, a caregiver for that textbook during the year.
Well, kids don't have many textbooks anymore.
Oh,
But-
okay. Oh, I'm so
but-
out of date. Oh.
But they now have a device, whether it be a laptop or an iPad in most schools. Now, like I know in our
Okay.
schools, they do, so they have to be stewards over that, too.
Yeah, you can't just drop it.
Right.
You have to be careful
Because
with
there's
it.
a case that it goes in and everything, so.
Okay, wow, schools are so much different. Brooke, I'm so glad you brought that up because they probably don't know, kids, what a book cover is. Ask your
No.
parents. Maybe your parents can tell you about it. They might remember.
I remember in the book covers, you would take a brown paper bag, which we don't see those often anymore, and make our own.
Yes, that
And
was
then
one
we
way.
could decorate our own.
Absolutely, yeah, it was so much fun. And we had book bags, and the book bags got heavy. It must be really easy to go to school nowadays with just a device or a laptop.
But you know
or a
what? Like
tablet.
that makes me think when I'm comparing it. So if I did a book cover made out of a brown paper bag and I decorated it and stuff, some students are permitted, and this goes from district to district, I think, but some students are permitted to take their device and maybe put stickers and stuff on it to
Oh,
decorate.
cool. Okay, well that's cool. So kids who are in school are actually stewards. They have to take care of their device or their laptop, and they also have to take care of the lessons that they're given.
Yeah.
You know, they're a steward over reading so much material and getting assignment done and getting it in.
Well, especially older youth need to be stewards over that cell phone they have because their parents pay for that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So there's a lot of things that people are stewards over, and children are stewards over. How many of you kids have a pet? How many of you kids have a cat or a dog or a gerbil or a hamster or a parakeet or a rabbit? There's so many kinds of pets. I know some of our kids in the church actually have other farm animals. They have chickens or a goat. You know, so when we have animals, kind of as pets, but we have to be stewards over them. So what would that mean?
Well, because I have a pet,
Okay.
so I need to take care of Armstrong. So I need to feed him and give him
Okay.
water and make sure that he gets exercise. And if you have a dog that has a lot of hair, you have to groom them, take care of their nails, clip their nails.
Wow, there's a lot to do when you're a steward. And sometimes, did you have to learn how to clip their nails?
Yes.
See, that's what I said when we started. Sometimes when we're a steward, we have to learn new things.
I have to break in.
Okay.
I'm monitoring the chat and I'm
Yes,
seeing things
yeah.
going on. So, but this one here, and I'm interested. So, I don't know. I'm going to have a conversation. But we're being told that one of our folks online has a leopard gecko. I have no idea what a leopard gecko is, and I'm going to need to figure that one out.
A leopard gecko.
Oh,
How
yeah.
cool
What
is
is
that?
a leopard gecko?
It's some kind.
I'm
Must
gonna
be
say it
some
has
kind of a
spots.
lizard.
With spots.
Yeah. Wow.
That's what I'm
so,
gonna think is-
again,
Ooh.
we can be
How do you
stewards
take
over
care of
house
that?
cats or leopard geckos. That is amazing. So to be a steward is to have an important job.
Well, then the kids watching, well, it's harder nowadays in this whole COVID thing. But do you remember when you were in school and you had a classroom job?
Oh, yes.
and you had to take care of something, like sometimes our students, they're the trash cans, they do that at the end of the day. They take care of that. Oh, my favorite when I was a kid was having to clean the chalkboard erasers.
I was thinking the same thing, but I was thinking the kids
They-
have no
kids
clue
don't know about that.
chalkboards and chalkboard erasers and chalkboard dust. We're
I
probably going to
loved-
have cancer from all the chalkboard
I
dust.
loved that
Remember,
job.
they even had it was like a vacuum cleaner machine
Yes.
that was kind of upside down, and you'd run across. And remember, most of the times the erasers were these little ones, like 6 inches. But then occasionally there was like the 12 or 18-inch ones. They were the really modern, cool ones when we were. And then you could get the blackboard done a lot quicker. But yeah, we were stewards of jobs like in school,
And
stewards
so-
of the classroom.
And so students have done that too. Now, I can't speak about that for this year because this year is just different in the
Yeah.
whole COVID. But yeah, there's things like that. And
Well, at home, parents make kids stewards over their bedroom.
true.
You know, they have to maybe do some kind of cleaning, maybe they have to do some kind of organizing, maybe making their bed, so they're stewards. They have to take care of their room.
Maybe kids, if you think back to like last year or other years, what were some things in school that you were a steward, like one of your classroom jobs you had? That'd be interesting to see what they do now.
So, Brooke, I want to ask you a question. So here we are, we're in the church, the church building. The kids can see the altar behind us. And we talk a lot about being stewards and the topic of stewardship at church. So what do you think being a steward means here at church?
Well, one of the things is, as I see Mary back there, is taking care of make sure that it's cleaned and things like that.
Okay, yeah, we have to take care of our building because if we don't, dust will accumulate and dirt or things that are broken. If we don't fix them, then eventually it just starts to look kind of nasty. Yeah, and we had this week, there were some people that came and did some chores outside.
Ooh.
There was a man here yesterday that did some sealing on where the rubber roof meets the brick line of the building. And that was Clint Workinger. He was sealing that. He was doing a good job and working hard. And earlier in the week, Tim Kaiser was here, and he was doing some yard work around the building and trimming back some of the perennials. So, we're stewards. We have to take care of the building.
Well, the other week we celebrated Harvest Home.
Okay, yeah.
So remember, we
It was
brought in
decorated.
food. It was decorated. So by doing that, we're helping other people. We're looking out for their needs.
Okay, so we're stewards of the love of God in Christ. Yeah, so that's why that was a good transition because I brought this. This is an old Bible that I have. But in the church, we are stewards not just of Bibles as books. Like, I'm going to take care of this one. If you look at it, it probably doesn't look like it's taken care of. But that's because this is really old. I got this back. You're going to tell me. Oh, that's when I got it.
1983.
Yeah, so how long ago was that?
Oh.
37 years
Oh my
ago.
gosh.
And I used it a lot, so it looks like it. There's all kinds of markings in here. There's things from my kids, some drawings they made, and there's even some stickers they gave me and underlines. But anyway, we're stewards of Bible, but not just that we're caring for a book like we're caring for a laptop or a tablet. We're stewards of the message inside. And so if you were to, in one word, summarize the message of the Bible, what would it be?
Love.
Really? That's the word I was thinking of too. In one word, let's make our hearts. Whoops, right there. There's my heart. And it's on the right side, the correct side, which is the sort of the left side of your chest cavity generally, isn't it?
Yeah, it just looks funny up there.
Yeah. So, love. So when we are stewards of the Bible, we're stewards of the message of love. And to be a steward is to love people. Love the plant or make it broad, the creation that God has given to us. We love the world and we want to care for it and do things that are better for the environment. We love other people, even people sometimes that are hard to love. In our families sometimes there's one person that just is a little bit maybe grumpy. And it's hard to love them in our family. And maybe on our street, there's somebody that does something that we don't really like. And so it's kind of hard to love them. But that doesn't matter. Jesus calls us to love other people. That's the message of the Bible. That's the good news of the Bible, that God loved us so much, what?
That he gave his only son.
Yes, it's a Bible verse we quote a lot. That God sent Jesus Christ,
to us.
the eternal Son of God, to be with us and to show us the way of love. And you know what? Sometimes when we do that, though, people don't like it.
No. And I think because we're supposed to love just because, like unconditionally. So it doesn't matter who the person is. It doesn't matter how well we know them or don't know them at all. It doesn't matter if they think differently than we do, if they live differently than they do, if their family looks different than ours.
We're still
We're
called
supposed to love.
Yeah, and that's why in our church we say, no matter who you are or where you are on life's journey, you're welcome. That's hospitality is sort of like the front door to love. It's like if you're to ever get into the house of love or experience love, you have to open the door through hospitality and welcoming people. So yeah, so we are stewards of so much that we have to take care of, whether it's tablets in school, at home, our bedrooms, our pets, our parents taking care of us, the Bibles and books that we have, but most of all, the message of God's love made known to us in Jesus Christ. That is what we're to be stewards over. So today is Stewardship Sunday, and we're going to talk more about that in our service of worship. But we thought, kids, we use these words all the time. Maybe we should make it better known. So now, Brooke, you are a steward of this plant of
all
mine.
right.
You're going to take care of it.
I am.
You're going to talk to it and love it and water it. And maybe in a few weeks, we'll look at how it's doing.
Okay.
So where are we going to put it? We're going to put it in your office?
Well, we could do that.
Or do you want to take it home?
Oh, I would take it home.
Okay. I think we should. It'll be fun to find out.
I'll take it home. I've never been extremely good with plants, but I need to talk to it and water it and make sure that it has some light and maybe sprinkle some food in there every now and then.
Stewards need to learn new things. Hey kids, why don't we pray that we'll be good stewards? And one of the prayers that teaches us about stewardship is
the Lord's Prayer.
It is. It's a prayer about stewardship, of taking care of God's world and God's people and ourselves. So let's pray together.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
My goodness, I was going back to the Lord's Prayer the way I first learned it with trespasses, and those who trespass against it started to mix it up. Oh my, we are stewards. What a good day. Hey, be stewards of God's world today, and make sure you spend some time outside. We'll see you next week.
See ya.